Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rockstar Doctor Life in the growth series. I'm looking forward to today's conversation. Dr. Rebecca Hopkins is someone that I have observed, someone that I've learned a few things from, and someone that I've just been anxious to have a chat with now that her personal life has grown. She's a mother of two and her business has grown. And I know that she has a lot of incredible insights for us around how to use social media, maybe particularly Instagram, how we can grow a brand, and hopefully how we can make that all happen while having a harmonious family life as well. Dr. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Let's just start with give us an update. Like who is Dr. Rebecca? What are you at right now and how did you get to this point?
And that question used to be so simple. And now that I've grown and have become a mother, there's so many layers to Dr.
Yeah.
But I am, of course, Dr. Rebecca Hopkins. I own now the wellness studio that I started about 4 or 5 years ago now. I moved to Texas. I'm originally from Canada, so I'm Canadian. Did my schooling there and everything. So moving out here was just so new to me, and it was a new, like, foreign land that I had to get known and used to as far as like just things that were just different here,
Hmm.
specifically as a chiropractor. So just kind of learning everything and just doing my own research and getting my name out there as much as I could when starting off my career. So I started when I moved here, I was a fresh doctor out of school, did my boards out here, and now we're located in Fort Worth, Texas. So I also do some coaching that evolved as I became more and more just into chiropractic and into my profession. And now I'm a mom of two, so there's a lot going on.
You've had a busy few years.
Busy 2 years, a lot to juggle, and I'm honestly just I'm a student to everything still. I'm still learning and still trying to find balance with everything.
So, you graduated 4 years ago or
I
5? Like,
2018.
okay. So relatively new grad still, which is amazing. And you jumped right into life and practice in a new country with your husband. And Instagram, you trying to get familiar with the area. It sounds to me like that's where you dove in to grow your practice.
Absolutely. I remember when I moved out here, there was a little bit of time where I wasn't working. I was taking my board, so that took about half a year to a year to accomplish. So I told myself, how am I gonna get, the idea of myself I graduated in Toronto. I'm from Ottawa, and I was excited to go back home, have my community, my family, everybody knows us. And I was really excited to jump into practice because I was like, it's going to be a smooth transition. I can get family members and friends, and we own a restaurant. So just customers that we know to come in, and so I can start off my career.
You
And
had a
that,
foundation there.
yes, a
Yeah.
foundation. And it
Yeah.
wasn't focused about opening up my own practice from the get go. We're very like into entrepreneurship. We grew up doing that. My father is a business owner, a restaurant owner, so it's in our blood. Like that's what we
Mhm.
love. So I was really excited to get to it. And then everything changed. I was stripped of that and had to move to Fort Worth, Texas, where no one knew me. Like,
Mm.
I think I knew maybe through LinkedIn, found a chiropractor that graduated from CMCC and now lived in Fort Worth, Texas. So connected with her naturally because we had some similarities. Um, but I was like, I have to take this serious and I have to take Instagram super serious because there's no other way for me to get my name out there. So
Mm.
that's what I did. I was like, you know what, Instagram, is usually known as something that we do for fun. We scroll, we kind of it's for entertainment. And I remember I had a personal Instagram and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start a professional Instagram as this new me, new chapter in my life and really take it serious and just go with it and see what happens. So that's what I did. I had a whole year to really do some research, figure out the trends and how to grow and build my presence and just my reputation online.
Hmm. A lot of courage required to make that kind of bold move. I mean, obviously, we do a lot of things for our partnerships and relationships, but it certainly thrust you into the newness of practice life in a new country and a new surroundings. And good for you guys.
Thank you.
So, starting your practice with Instagram, What are some of the biggest, I mean, that was a few years ago, but I'm sure things are changing constantly. Let's fast forward to that was Dr. Rebecca a few years ago. Now, you've got an incredible following. You're partnering with other brands, you're collaborating. It sounds to me in some ways that in addition to your practice, being an Instagram star is a big part of your work too these days.
Yeah, it's definitely evolved, and I feel like just even over the years since I've been on Instagram promoting and growing my practice, um, Instagram has changed so much in this
Mm,
4 years. So it's kind of just evolving and moving with where the app is headed. And I kind of saw an opportunity. I was growing a pretty good following, but I was known for this one thing. And when it came down to it, I was like, there's so much more to me than chiropractic and being a doctor and helping others. There was this opportunity to really build a personal brand and build personal connections online. And that's what I was trying to evolve in. Um,
mm,
Instagram has been such a big part of my practice and my career. And as naturally as we all do, especially as women, we evolve so
mm,
much, motherhood and all these different things that we want to get involved with. So it was just so much more layered than just being a chiropractor. Not that that's
right.
that's not enough. It definitely is. But I saw an opportunity to really grow brand and really grow Dr. Rebecca Hopkins brand versus
Mm.
the wellness studio brand only. So I ran with it and I just kept kind of changing and evolving with how the app was changing, the trends, the
Mm.
viral videos, the just the ways that the app in itself was changing. You just kind of have to follow that. And that's what I did.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're not students of life, like you said, we're missing out on a lot of things. And not all docs are designed to be entrepreneurs, right? And not all entrepreneurs are great at creativity. And like, it's an interesting conversation, I think, because so many times as chiropractors, we're trained clinically and we're trained to do the best job we can be when assessing people's needs and providing good clinical care. But then you throw in the aspect of having maybe to negotiate business deals or market or hire a team or and then somehow do all that while being a clinician. It's not a role that all practitioners want to take on. And that's why, there's certainly roles for associates and independent contracts and all kinds of things. But you have to jump in to all these different hats you're wearing. And it sounds to me like you're inspired by these different roles that you have as well. And that's actually part of the fire that lights you up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like I talk to so many women, especially in our field,
Yeah.
and a lot of them find new things that they're passionate about. And, it's almost like that passion when we go into chiropractic school. We have this like desire and this determination and passion to get to the end, become a chiropractor, and then just like start helping people as much as we can. And it was that passion that I felt for social media as far as building a personal brand that I felt in chiropractic school when I first started. And so I
Mhm.
was like, there's something to this. Like there's a reason why I'm feeling this and why I want to take this on. And so I've talked to a lot of women and they're like, there's just so many more things that we want to do. And we don't just want to be um, known online for being a chiropractor or a healthcare practitioner in general. So I can definitely relate to that. I hear that. And as I was growing up and as I was evolving as a human, but also as a doctor, there's just so many things that I was interested in. And I think that's to a fault sometimes because we're just so, a lot of people say niche down and just focus on one thing and just grow, and that's how you'll grow and that's how you'll gain some um, momentum online. But I just love a lot of things. And so I was like, if I can build
Yeah.
a brand, then that will allow me to do really whatever I want to do online.
Well, and I've always thought that as chiropractors, I mean, a big part of our role as doctors is to teach people, right? And to be a big part of my mission too has been to educate people, to show them the ways of healthy living. Because let's face it, people can come into our practices and require lots of care, but if we're not really addressing some of the needs and their stressors, whether it's the food, whether it's their exercise habits, then I feel like we're missing the really helping them fully heal. And I mean, I've been in practice 23 years now. And that fire in me has still not changed because I still see the same things, right? And I think that what you said about evolving with your practice is so important. When my boys, today's actually my youngest son's birthday. He's 19 today. And
Oh,
I
wow.
remember when they were babies, like your two little ones are, because you have a toddler and an infant, right? Yeah, so busy days. And I remember my journey at that point was like, oh, well, how am I feeding them? And how should I be nurturing them? And how am I going to teach them values? And what about the chemicals in our environment? Like, and the things that I was sharing in the practice and as a person, like you shared, were also growing. Now, fast forward, I'm really curious about women and hormones and like changes in my needs, and my kids are growing. So how do I keep nurturing them? And you pay attention to trends. So I think you're really, really wise to be sharing yourself and to be growing yourself and evolving and sharing that it's okay to do so. We should be doing so with other people because that's human nature.
I think I was very reluctant to pivot and to change and to um, I loved what I was doing and I loved what I was sharing online, but there was just something in me that was like, there's other things I want to share.
Mhm.
There's so many things I'm interested in. There's so many things that I want to share with everybody. But I was like, okay, is it not professional? Is it okay to share this while I go see, people in practice that are seeing me post these things online? And
Yeah.
I came to the realization that I am not the same person I was when I entered school, when I
Mhm.
graduated from school, and today. I am
Mhm.
evolving as a woman, and
Mhm.
naturally we evolve as humans. And I think more so women because we just go through so many more life changes, I believe. And especially when it comes to our career, as
Mhm.
a mother, that is your priority. That
Mhm.
and you almost feel anyways, like personally, I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do anything else right now other than be a mom. And
Yeah.
so it's hard to juggle everything, but I think that's just natural. I think that you feel alone in it, but I think every woman goes through this, especially with their careers.
Yeah.
And I just this year, actually, especially after having my second,
Mhm.
I came to the realization that it's okay to pivot. It's okay to do
Mhm.
something different. It's okay because you
Mhm.
are different. You're a different human. You're
Yeah.
you're completely different than you were when you entered school. So I always felt like I don't like this feels wrong. Like why am I feeling like I want to do other things when I
Mhm.
spent so much of my life studying chiropractic and in school that to do anything else,
Mhm.
So I think that social media is great because it gives you opportunities to do anything you want to do, really, as far as like when it comes to your career or like your brand.
Mhm. I mean, that's been for me a big focus of this whole show. This when I first launched my first podcast for chiropractors, it was called Rockstar Doctor Moms. And it was to have these conversations with women because back then, 7 years ago, I was going to the events and learning so much, but I was feeling exactly what you were sharing. Like I felt kind of alone in that I was at that point a single mom going through a divorce and stuff, thinking I'm going to grow my practice differently, but also my focus is different. And I was feeling most connected with my girlfriends who are chiropractors and having those quiet conversations. So it started to evolve me. As I wanted to have these conversations in a bigger way so that other women didn't feel the same way I felt. And I'm like, if I just help one other doc feel validated in their choices, that we can be these multidisciplinary, multi-interested, multi-passionate people. We can do all these things as long as you know what those things are at different seasons in your life. And what I've loved about the show over the years is that I've had conversations with chiropractors who took their training and grew it into something different, right? Maybe they started writing books or speaking or coaching, or they decided that they really love just doing the research and they're not in clinical practice. Like at the end of the day, your training as a chiropractor has led you to this point, and you're able to share such incredible information about health and healing. And I think it's important that we all give ourselves some freedom to play with who we actually are, right? And like you said, and to explore, you clearly have other skills and gifts that maybe some other docs don't have. And why not harness those? Because those are unique to Dr. Rebecca. So let's just dive in a little bit to Instagram because I know that a lot of docs love it, and I know a lot of docs who get frustrated with it, and I know a lot of docs who don't know how to start and they need some support, or they need to turn to someone like you to even learn the basics. So if someone, let's start with someone who knows very little. He's just got a really basic Instagram page. What are some of the things that you would advocate for? And guys, we can link in our show notes here. Dr. Becker's got guides and ways that you can learn more and dive into this content a little bit more. We're certainly not going to cover everything in this conversation, but what are some ways that you think people can get started?
Yeah, that's a great question because a lot of chiropractors that I coach, and I don't only coach chiropractors, but a lot of them resonate with me, so they are interested in the coaching aspect of it. And I think what's important to know is that it is normal that you don't know this world. Like this is not something you're taught ever, and this is not something that we learn in school. We don't know how to market ourselves properly. We don't know how to um, show up online. Like we don't. That's not something that's natural, which is makes sense why it doesn't feel natural when you're doing it. Um, this is like the new way of just marketing yourself. This is like something that has been not around for that long. So I think it's important to know everybody is learning. Everybody is kind of trying to figure it out and figure out their
Yeah.
own brand and what they're doing. When it comes to coaching clients that have not really like it's not really their thing. The one thing that I try and teach them is why are they on social media? I think that's important to know.
Mhm.
Just like when you decide to become a chiropractor, like what's that passion? What is that fire that's burning when it comes to that topic or that career? So why is it? Your why is so important because it's what's going to keep you going day after day. Social
Mhm.
media is like it's great. There's great things about it, but it's also it's a lot. It's taxing. It's exhausting. It's
Mhm.
it's there's ups and downs and ebbs and flows when it comes to social media. So I think understanding your why is so important. When it
Mhm.
comes to marketing yourself and if you are using social media to grow your practice or grow your business, share service, um, promote treatments, you sell a product, whatever it is, it's so important to know who you're trying to reach and who you're trying to sell it to. So your ideal audience is an ideal demographic is everything.
Mhm.
We need to know how we're going to show up and how we're going to speak online and who we're speaking to. So that's
Mhm.
another key thing that I think a lot of especially chiropractors are not the best at because we
Mhm.
naturally want to help everybody. And so when we show up online, and things that I've heard commonly with when it comes to coaching clients is, I mean, I don't have anyone that I want to specifically treat. I want to help everybody. No matter who comes in my door, I want to be able to help them.
Mhm.
That, while that's really admirable, it can kind of set you up for failure a little bit when it comes to social media because we absolutely need to know who we're talking to when we show up.
Mhm.
So that's another thing that I would say. But a lot of coaching clients also come to me and they're like, I don't like this. I know I have to do it. I know I have to show up somehow because that's how people are growing their practices right now. And that's how people are finding their healthcare practitioners is online, not Google anymore, but social media, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
So they kind of know that they have to do this.
Mhm.
And so what I tell them all the time is, you don't necessarily have to show your face if you don't want to. You don't necessarily have to record yourself if you don't want to. There's so many ways that you can show up online and be helpful and
Mhm.
service to others without showing yourself. And someone who comes to mind is actually my sister, who's a dentist. And we have these conversations a lot. She has her own practice with her husband, and she like I love social media and she cannot stand it. She's like, if I don't have to be on there, I am not going to be on there. So she's definitely found ways to show up without necessarily showing her face all the time.
Mhm.
So there are different ways that you can show up authentically yourself and what feels good to you without necessarily jumping on a camera and talking to the camera.
Yeah, I think that is something that a lot of people can relate to because, but I love what you said too about the knowing who your ideal client is because is there not like a demographic like Instagram, at least it used to be for the younger people, right? So if you, and first of all, I agree with you. This actually came up on another interview in this series, that docs want to help everyone. So it can get really hard for them to narrow down who their ideal client is, right? And because, sure, I have a family practice. I see babies. I have specialty in pediatrics, but I see dads too, and I see aging grandparents. So it's hard for our hearts to narrow it down, but you're right in that I do think you need to be speaking to the right audience, whatever medium that you're on. So has Instagram changed then as far as being a way that you can reach people of different ages?
Yeah, I honestly believe it has. I think we think that it's more for like the younger generations, but what you have to understand also is that these younger generations have grandparents, they have parents, cousins, aunts, uncles. And so I get this question a lot. It's like, well, should I not be on Facebook or should I not be on another platform that has my demographic, whether
Mhm.
that's like 50 to 80 years old, whatever that might be for you. And I always think it's important to be on Instagram because those people have family members. So even though
Mm.
there may not be a lot of the older generations on social media or on Instagram specifically, their daughters are on there, their sons are on there. So for example, for me, if my mom comes to me and is like, "Hey, can you find me a massage therapist?" Well,
Mm.
I'm gonna go and find her one and share it with her. So there are still ways to connect with the older generations without them necessarily being on the platform all the time. If that makes sense, I don't know. That's usually what I
Yeah.
tell my clients is like, well, it that's okay because while that might be the case that there is not, I mean, your grandparents are not on Instagram as much as you are, uh,
Mhm.
but you're on there and family members are on there, and that's how you get those connections and those referrals.
Mhm. It's also, a social proof, right? It's a validation of who you are, that you're staying current, and you're doing something, right? And do you think something is better than nothing? Like if there's people that have started Instagram and then they're not posting frequently, or like, is it a negative if they're not really being consistent or active on their accounts?
I think something is better than nothing for sure because I always feel like you can pick it back up. I always feel like you can show up. I think if there's a foundation there, it's worth something 100%. Um,
Mhm.
it depends on your goal. If you just want to have something there for people to go look at,
Mhm.
or for you to share and be like, hey, we have an Instagram, go check it out.
Mhm.
Having something is important. But if you're actively trying to find new people, new patients, new customers, being present and being on there consistently, it does matter.
Mhm. It's what's coming to mind for me too is that a lot of docs, sure, maybe they have an Instagram page for their practice, or maybe they have one for their personal. And I simplified things and just went with my name, and hopefully my name will capture everything. And I think you're doing the same. But is that confusing for consumers, or how do you juggle your content with the different roles that you play?
That's a great question. And that has actually evolved over time. Um, I always wanted to show up as me, and I knew that I was going to eventually tap into different things. And I wanted it to be centered around Dr. Rebecca Hopkins because I wanted to be able to have a personal connection online
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And I think that that was really important to me. So I centered it all around me. And
Mm-hmm.
through that, I've built trust, confidence, expertise, um, just relationships and connections that I wouldn't have with, I feel like, a practice page, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Because
Yeah,
for
it's
the
also portable, right? If at some point you relocate your clinical practice, you and your husband move somewhere else, you're not losing that foundation that you've built.
there's so much power in a personal
Yeah.
brand. That's why I've honed in on that. And then through my personal brand, sharing my practice, my whatever else that I'm sharing at the time or at the coaching and things like that.
Hmm.
And I think consumers really appreciate the connection. I think that
Yeah.
they knowing who you are and getting to know you online, whether it's through your feed or your stories. Um,
Mhm.
because I've actually had patients come to see me that have been following me for a year or two even, and they basically know everything about me, and they know me. And so
Yeah.
when they come in and you know, I've never really, and I tell my coaching clients all the time, I've never through social media. One of the best things about it is that I've never really had to
Mm. Hmm.
sell packages. I've never it because of your personal brand and the trust and
Yeah.
connections you've built over time. When people are choosing to book an appointment with you, they're already sold. They already
Right.
want to see you, and so whatever you your diagnose, or you assess them, and whatever your opinion is on treatment that they should get, there's already a trust there, which is so
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of consumers crave that. And if you think about it, any brand
Yeah.
doing a really good job has a personal aspect to it, a story, something, an emotional connection. So
Yeah.
that's why I value that.
Yeah, it's to me that I had the same experience with podcasting, right? Because they can hear your voice, they're seeing it or they're hearing it mostly, but they feel like there's a warmth there. There you're building some kind of trust and authority. But when it comes to and I think social media too can be great as far as just content that pulls. It's content marketing, right? You're pulling people towards you with your knowledge and your expertise and the free information you're giving, and then inviting them at some point to come and support your business somehow. However, I do have a conversation that's been coming up a lot with one of my other coaching groups has been like, people are feeling if you're in the coaching business or you're in the service business, that it seems like everyone's selling something, right? And then, what is that ratio now of how do you kind of break through? Or what are the current guidelines? And I know that I'm not alone in that. I think maybe that's why I was mentioning to you in our pre-chat that I kind of took a step back for a little bit because I was feeling like I was always having to either keep up with what was new and I didn't have the time, or I just felt like everyone's doing the same thing and I'm on here and I'm being things sold to more than I'm just being inspired or entertained. So do you have any feedback or thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see how that. I mean, I'm on social media and I'm consuming content all the time, and it's true. Like
Yeah,
there's links, there's, you purchase this and purchase that, and so where I fall back to is like the personal brand, and
right.
and when you build a personal brand, it doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing a product on you or a service on you.
Hmm.
You build that trust with your audience, and that's where you sharing those things becomes almost more um, like a part of you and natural, versus
Right,
that selling aspect to it. So that's what I've focused on over the years, is like just
right.
building that know, like, and trust factor with my audience, so that
Hmm.
when I do come out with a product or a digital product, it's feels like more like it's more helpful than anything,
Right.
than me just trying to make money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think it was powerful what you said at the beginning is that just know what your why is, right? And if you're showing up on Instagram and it sounds like you're committed to this, is like you want to be a health and wellness ambassador for life. So if you're showing up and sharing information that way, that anchors you, right? So that's a good reminder, I think, for all of us is to stay really connected to why are you on social media?
Why are you, yeah, exactly. Why are you showing up? There has to be value there. And there has
Yeah.
to be a balance of like, okay, yes, I'm selling a product, or, join my email list, or here's my podcast episode or my YouTube video. But there also has to be a good balance of like, hey, I'm actually sharing free knowledge and I
Yeah.
actually want to help you. And
Yeah.
um, I think that that component that has to be a part of your content. There has
Right.
to be some kind of, yes, educational is one thing. Sorry, entertainment is one thing. We're all on there to be entertained all the time. But I
Hmm.
think the pages that do really well and the brands that do really well is when they're consistently sharing valuable. How are you going to change someone's life? If someone comes
Hmm.
across your content, what can they take away, and how can it impact their life positive, like in a positive way?
Hmm.
I always remember that, because and your audience will remind you of that. They'll be like, "Wow, this was so helpful. Thank you so much." Or even
Hmm.
just like the metrics, your insights on Instagram, you'll know that you're doing a good job at this and your audience is resonating with the content you're sharing when you see a lot of shares and you see a lot of saves, um,
Hmm.
and people are tagging you. And so that's
Right.
what kind of keeps you going, because you're like, okay, this is actually very helpful for people. Um,
Hmm.
so I, again, like, just talking about metrics and like how do you know that you're doing a good job, is just staying, you know, really paying attention to those insights on your posts, whether
Right.
that's stories or on your feed. You can always see that you're going in the right direction and you're posting impactful things when you have really good insights.
Hmm. So, I mean, that leads into my question would be like, are there some best practices that you think are universally applicable? Are there things that you're seeing that are like, oh my God, don't do this, people? Like what are the do's? I mean, it sounds like the first one is like pay attention to some of the insights that you get. And then that helps you, directs you towards what's working, what's not working.
And how you're going to pivot. So if you feel like
Yeah.
some content you're just like, okay, yeah, that didn't do very well. Not that it matters. Like I don't pay attention to views and likes. I mostly look at my shares and my saves.
Okay.
And that's how I kind of know that I'm going in the right direction or what to post and what not to post. Um,
Right.
but there, the one of the most important things is consistency. And
Mm,
I always tell my coaching clients, just show up. It doesn't matter how you look, what you're doing, just show up. And it's almost like staying top of mind. Um,
right.
whether that's chiropractic related or not, whether that's you're taking a trip and or you're showing your kids or you have a makeup routine or a skincare routine, anything
Hmm.
that you show that's personal, that's in your personal life is relatable. So I think
Hmm.
staying authentic, staying relatable is so important because
Hmm.
that's whether we like it or not, that's people love to see that. They love to
Hmm.
themselves in what you're sharing and what you're posting, and they love to feel like they are connected and like things that you're sharing are relatable to them as well.
Hmm.
So I think that that's so important, and I think that one of the things that I've tried to stay true to is just being authentically myself and showing up as myself all the time. Um,
Hmm.
that's how you build that trust. So when you do sell or when you do post that you have availability on your schedule or a link to a product that you've been using, um, people trust that. They trust your opinion now.
Yeah. So being consistent, knowing your metrics, keeping your why in mind as far as showing up. Are there some things that you don't recommend people do?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Um, I think just one of the things that comes to mind is just always pushing a service or always pushing a link or always.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's anything like not to do, uh, but I think that you can kind of read through people that are just trying to sell something,
Yeah.
trying to promote a product or even with a podcast, like just
Yeah.
sharing a podcast all the time or your YouTube video or whatnot. It's I don't think it's going to be as effective as if you show up authentically and share things with people that are going on in your life. I think I've
Yeah.
found over time like found a balance of like, okay, what I like when I'm sharing my personal stuff versus my personal life versus like my practice, and it's finding
Yeah.
that balance. With a practice page, you're really just posting about your practice all the time.
Yeah.
That's great. And that, there's a lot of people that are looking for a page to go see your practice and see your services and your hours and your policies and all of that stuff. It's so good to have. But I think
Hmm.
when it comes to a personal brand or when you're sharing, you are a chiropractor and you're sharing your services online, I think there has to be a balance. There has to be a
Yeah.
balance for everything.
I often would say to people, think about it with what's your business? Like, sure, share things about your business, like photos of your practice, or your hours, or upcoming events. Think about your brand, like who you are as a whole, and then think about your being, like who you are actually, you as a human, like you with your kids, you on your vacation, like things that you're comfortable sharing. I think that's a nice way that I've tried to always frame it for myself. So maybe so that the constant sell, yeah, obviously it's a bit of a turnoff for people, but are there things that you see people do because they don't know any different? Like I could tell you right now, like I don't know if I post something, am I still supposed to use tags? Am I wasting my time doing some things? Do I need to do reels or not do reels? Like I've kind of resisted doing reels because I find I had to learn so much to try to do them. So I haven't been doing it. So are there things that maybe docs are doing that not necessarily harmful, but maybe they're not getting as much value as they could be getting, like a bit of a time waster?
Yeah, I think following anything that Instagram shares that's a new feature, you want to
Hmm.
because Instagram is going to reward people that are using something that they have just put out that's new because they want to push that. So,
Right.
for example, like an audio, like a viral audio, you include it in your content because we know that the Instagram is trying to push that, and there's so many creators doing using that audio that is going to just naturally perform better. Um, things have changed as far as like content. It's not as curated. It's
Right.
just I mean, there's people that just post a vlog, let's say on in their real.
Yeah.
It's there's no music. It's literally just the original audio. Um,
Yeah.
So just understanding that the things have shifted with Instagram. It's not curated. It's not cookie cutter anymore. Nobody wants a
Mm,
perfect version of you. They want to see you
right.
authentically you. So if I had to recommend anything, I would say again, it goes back to just like being you and just being authentic because
Yeah.
follow you for you and you are the brand and the you are what people are showing up for, if that
Right.
makes if you think about it in the sense that like we have a restaurant at back home and
You're
one
gonna
of
have
the
to tell me what restaurant this is because I'm
I,
actually not going to be far from Ottawa next month.
I definitely will so yeah so we own a restaurant and one of the ways that my dad has done that has been so amazing and whether he likes it or not or he knows this or not is he's actually built a personal brand within the
Mm,
right you have the restaurant brand itself the food the quality the service and all of that but one of the things that and I have three sisters and a brother we all worked in this restaurant and one of the things that people that we've noticed that why people show up is for him they will
mm,
come and ask for him and want to chat with him and want to connect with him and where's your dad and if he's traveling it's like oh my gosh where's ray and so he's built naturally without him even knowing a personal brand and a lot of people are supporting the restaurant yes but it's because of him
right.
that is good and bad because now when you want to sell or when you want to duplicate and you're not there anymore and your business is running solely off you um,
Mm,
that could be kind of tricky but he's built this community because of him because of the personal
right.
for him the family and everything like that so there's a story there there's an authenticity there there is a relatability there there's
Mm,
connection so I am so big on that because I believe that even the brands that I fall in love with creators and with people because of their stories
right.
emotions that they make me feel um, the way we feel a part of their life and a part of their journey is so important. So even for
Hmm.
people that have been following me from before I got into chiropractic school, and now
Right.
fast forward, now I'm a mom of two, and a business owner, a creator, a wife. They have been through it with me and through every phase of my life. So there's something so beautiful about that because they really are just like supporters and feel like they're a part of your journey. So I think that that's so important.
Yeah, it's not curated, not having something be curated is, I think, advantageous to me because I think that's been part of the the struggling point for people in that they feel like it has to all look perfect. The images have to be part of their brand. It has to be a pretty picture. But what I'm hearing is that we can kind of throw some of that away a little bit now and not worry so much about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's changed. It's
Yeah.
totally from when I first started to now. I think that what doesn't go out of style is you.
Showing up as you. Yeah, it's I'm inspired by this conversation because you're reminding me that really just make it human. Like just
Exactly.
focus on your why. And if you're a doc that's passionate about helping people in your community, whatever type of practice you have, it's a sports practice, it's a pediatric practice, whatever that may be, if you're not using a tool like this to enhance your practice, to grow your practice, you're kind of missing out. But also there's a way that you could possibly explore other avenues, like you did by developing your own personal brand and making yourself a human in your practice.
Exactly. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is take people on the journey with you.
Right.
Listen. Let us into what's going on with you in your life, the ups, the downs, the successes, the failures. Let us really like embark in your journey. And I
Hmm.
think that's has transformed my brand.
Mm.
Anyone that I follow, that's what I fall in love with the most. So when
Yeah.
they share a product or when they're telling me about their makeup routine that they love, I'm like, I love this person. So I, whatever they share, whatever extensions they have of themselves, I immediately want to know more because I trust the person that I've been following.
Yeah. And so when you think about your own trajectory with Instagram, like were there things that I know you talked about consistency? Was it just that you were being consistent when you've looked at growth, like massive growth in your own following, your own account? Was there anything special that you did, or was it just that you're actually following what you're actually sharing with all of us here today? Like you're just being consistent and you learned a ton about how to use it when you were just getting started. But was there anything special that really stood out for you?
No, I think it was just showing up. I
Yeah.
think I made a decision to make it work for me,
Yeah.
to show up consistently. And I usually tell my coaching clients, like, just show up like 3 to 5 times on your story a day, even if you don't post for a week. Just stay
Okay.
consistent with the
Yeah.
stories, stay top of mind for people. When it comes to posting, yes, consistency is key. Um,
Yeah.
I would say at least if you can. It used to be where it's like, okay, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, post something, or on
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, post something. Now things have changed. The more you post, the better off you are. The more community you build, the more
Right.
engagement you build. So once a day is what I tell people now, and that I try to stay true to that as much as I can. Is once a day, just post something. There is
Right.
something in your camera roll that you can share with us, that you could put an audio on, that you can there. It's amazing because it's easier now than ever to to create content than
Right.
it has been, because before, like we were talking, it was very curated. It was very like, it has to be perfect, it has to
Hmm.
be shot worthy, it has to be edited and all of the things. But
Hmm.
over time, that's not really what people want to see anymore. They want to see the real raw footage.
Right. Yeah,
So
and I laugh at that sometimes because my one of my business owner friends, we were talking about it recently, going, it seems like you can post anything and then say anything else about it. Like they don't have to go together. I'm like, how did this how did this become marketing? Like you're going for a walk with your dog and then you're talking about fashion. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm hearing that that's just the way it is, but from a marketing background and the like 20 years ago, I'm like, how is this like good marketing? Like you're but what you're saying is it's just a piece of the story.
piece of it, and I think that remembering that you are, if you want to build a personal brand, you're the brand. You're the reason
Right.
why. So just remembering that it doesn't matter, like whatever you post is, and it's your page. It used to be where it's like you have to stay in this lane and this niche, and you have to like be very
Yeah.
specific what you're sharing. Like if you're a wellness person, you're just posting wellness. Don't show me your family. Don't show me your birth story. Don't show me. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
it's more like the personal brand that's taking over, and it just showing up. I think is one of the most important things. And it people have to be in, if you really want to make this, let's say, a career, or make it work for your practice or your business, or
Hmm.
make some kind of revenue online. You have to be in it for the long run. It takes time
Right.
build
Yeah.
build that community and to build that engagement. Um,
Yeah.
we can get into so much more about this, but uh,
Yeah.
to cut it short, it's just a matter of just being authentically you. People don't want to. They are now more than ever, and when it comes to content, it's finding how you can show up uniquely yourself. And I think
Right.
that's what stands you apart from everybody else. And that's what I'm noticing with a lot of
Mm.
creators that are really growing. It's, what are you creating that no one else has created, that you actually don't look like anybody else? You are you, and that's why people are showing up. Whether
Hmm.
that's, creating, you do daily vlogs and you have a voiceover, and it's the way that you share the information or story tell,
Hmm.
that is unique, or it's how you film the angles. So it's, and I am still really discovering that for myself, to be honest with you. I'm still
Hmm.
trying to discover, like, what is that unique thing that I'm sharing that doesn't look like everybody else. And I think that's what Instagram and social media is actually pushing and rewarding more, is that uniqueness.
It's almost like for you, it's been a tool for your own evolution.
Yeah.
Like it's forcing you to kind of take a step back and go, okay, what am I doing now? Or how do I want to show up? So I think we've covered so much today. We've covered like why Instagram is important. We've talked about anchoring to your why. We've talked about some practices as far as consistency. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to love to wrap up here with is like, what are some of the hows? Like if docs are busy running their practices, with their, they got families, like, are there ways that you would recommend docs actually make it a habit, or do you have any like tips around actually how to implement this stuff if they have a team, if it's they're doing it solo? Like sometimes this stuff is all great in theory, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, but then actually the doing part of it is really hard. So I mean, you're exceptional because this is a part of your business, but for the average doc who's maybe just wanting to do it to grow their practice, what's your advice for them?
There's so many ways that you can make this work for you. I mean, there are people now that hire coaches, they hire social media managers. If you have the luxury of doing that, that's also great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Um, Carving out time, I have learned this now like now that I'm a mom of two, and now that my free time is really, really, I'm in this phase of my life where it's like everything has to be scheduled. Everything is like, and I know you understand, and
Yeah.
I
Busy
am.
days that you're in.
Yes, I am so happy to be in it, but I am very excited to be on the other side of it as well. It's just really like managing your time well. And sometimes one of the biggest things that I've noticed, especially if you're trying to just show up, like you're just trying to show up for your audience as much as you can daily. I used to get on the app and record on my stories and post right away. And now, because of everything going on in my life, I actually just try and capture the content like in the moment, leave the
Hmm.
camera roll before I go to bed or whenever I have 10 minutes or while the girls are napping. And that's when I kind of just like post everything back to back to back to back.
Right.
So just choosing a period or a time in your day where you're focusing solely on that,
Hmm.
changed it for me, to be honest.
Hmm.
I look at it differently now. I'm not trying to like capture something just to show up and post it right away. I'm being
Right.
strategic with how I'm doing it and my time. I think
Right.
another tip that I have is like look at it as a business. So however
Right.
you run your business, um, run your social media the same way, and
Right.
find that it's more now something that is you have a purpose behind it versus like just trying to just be on it just to be on it. If there's a
Hmm.
purpose behind it, you understand your why, and you're carving out time for it specifically, I think that anyone can really grow and do well at it.
And you can schedule things, right? Like you can, if you had half an hour and you got like three posts ready to go, you can go in and actually schedule 3 days, right? Like I think that's something that, no, I didn't know that until, about a year ago. So there's some different features now that can streamline it.
Absolutely. And I'm a big believer in content batching. So
Right.
spending, one day a month even, and spending like the afternoon just creating content. Take
Yeah.
time to plan what you're going to do, go and record it, then set some time aside to edit it. And then you've got, you can make a post a day, 30
Yeah.
for the month in an afternoon or in a few days, let's say. And so that
Yeah.
way you don't have to think about it anymore and you're ready to go for the month. So if you did it that way or you did it quarterly or monthly or weekly or whatever it is that works for your lifestyle, and I think that's a huge thing, especially as, for me being a mom and other moms out there, make it work for your family, not the other way.
Right.
So whatever works for your family and helps you stay consistent
Hmm.
and stick with it. Uh,
Hmm.
Everybody's in a different phase of life. Everybody is doing, has different things that they're doing or involved in, and so the way that I run my social media is not the way that you're going to run your social media, and that
Right.
as
Yeah.
long as you're able to accomplish what you need to accomplish and show up as much as you can, then it doesn't matter how you do it.
And is it also like the captions and what you write, like can that stuff be simple or does it need to be elaborate? I think that's probably another thing that backlogs people too.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that actually has changed tremendously. Like there's not a huge focus now on captions and hashtags as much as it used to be. Uh,
Right.
you can keep it simple, really, really simple. And you can use Chat GPT and all of these things now to help you and just inspire you on what to write. So now
Right.
writing 30 captions is simpler than it has ever been. You can use ChatGPT or Copilot or one of those AIs and really help you get that going and get you some inspiration and even using it for content ideas. I know a lot of people that
Yeah.
prompted to help them create different ideas and 30
Yeah.
content ideas for the month. Like create 30 content different, and there you go. You have all your content, and all you got to do is execute and create it. So
Yeah.
it's been easier than it ever has been.
Yeah, and I think it's like one of these things I like that you just said, like just take it seriously. Like if you are going to use this as part of your marketing for your business, if you do want to build a personal brand that extends into other avenues, if you then you need to make the effort. You need to make the time for it because like training your staff or cleaning your office or reviewing your paperwork or your like it's just another piece of the puzzle that if you're not investing in it, it's not going to be giving you anything in return either.
And I think it's also understanding that this is a part of your business. This is
Yeah.
definitely part of you. Just like you said, just how you would train or do all the other things in your business, like this is a piece of your business. So showing up like it's a serious thing is important. And I think that's where the disconnect is oftentimes is like it's social media. Like, is it really that like valuable? It's it's silly. But
Yeah.
you know we like that is something that I have grown my practice on. That is what generates my new patients.
Mm.
So you have to pour into it. Like it's the thing that is helping you stay consistent and keep your doors open. Um,
Hmm.
so I think that deciding that is important, and then just going all in.
Yeah. And then gosh, there's so many different ways we can keep talking because I got questions about links, I got questions about your bio, I got questions about so many things here, and I want to respect your time, but um, it is just one part of the digital footprint, right? Is you need to have a website that is obviously working for you in it and a listing on Google, and you need to be able to maximize your digital presence essentially. And this is a piece of the puzzle to try to direct traffic to you. Yeah.
That's so it's just treating it like that and taking it serious. I think that had I not done that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am at today. It's opened,
Yeah.
it's welcomed so many patients in my door, and
Yeah.
it's allowed me to connect with people or do things that I never thought I'd be able to do. So there is so many more benefits to it than
Hmm.
just promoting a practice or a product or a service. And
Yeah.
it's it's to me it's the way to go. Like it is you
Yeah.
got to you got to treat it as it's a part of your business and an employee even like that's helping you do that.
Yeah.
Um, it's
So
yeah.
yeah, so if docs want to learn more from you, let's chat a little bit about how they can do so. I mean, you've got guides that they can purchase. They can hire you for a coach. Like, talk us through about, different levels that people can connect with you. And certainly, everyone, we'll put this in the show notes. You're going to want to give her a follow, obviously, on Instagram anyway, so you can just observe and learn from that process. But if someone actively wants to learn more tactical strategies from you, how can they do so?
So I have everything linked in my social media, Dr. Rebecca Hopkins. I have a guide that I've created specifically for chiropractors that if you have no idea where to start, this is going to help you get you going. I share a lot of tips and tricks and strategies that I use actively today that help me grow my presence, my engagement, and then get new patients through the doors. So it's called the Instagram Guide for Chiropractors. If you go in my link in bio, you'll be able to purchase it there.
Okay.
I also have my coaching services. So I will do a 15-minute call with you just to see if it's the right fit. And I have a one on one coaching program that I teach chiropractors how to do this whole thing. It's
Right.
so I basically go through one on one coaching with them and teach them all of my, my blueprint basically on how I did it myself. And that's probably one of the best things that has happened to me. I think that coaching just naturally evolved. Uh,
Yeah.
just came into my life in a way that I didn't even think I was going to do this. But I was
Yeah.
like, I see the gap from when you graduate to getting into practice or being an associate.
Mhm.
I see the lack of information that we're taught, and so
Mm.
I was like, I want to create something where I can really like hold your hand through this process because I didn't have that, and
Right.
I want it to be for other people. So I've helped hundreds of doctors really get going, and what's so amazing is just seeing coaching clients of mine that have started from nothing and now have evolved, have their own practices, have their own social medias, have a bigger audience that I do. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah,
so it's definitely if that's something that you want to do, I think having a coach is one of the best things I did for my career, uh,
yeah.
in my life, and that's why I want to be that for other people as well.
Yeah, it's that objectivity, right? That someone else looking outside of you that can say, "Hey, just tweak this little thing," or "I see this." And because we get stuck in our own, in two ways. I think we get stuck in our own beliefs about things that we don't know and the limitations that that can create for us psychologically, but also we don't see the good that we're doing. We don't see like, "Wow, you're doing great. Okay, thank you. That's the encouragement I needed to keep me motivated to keep going." So I'm a big believer in the objectivity that we get from business coaches, from friends, from other people who know more than we do, from your partners, even because we get stuck as humans in our own story. So looking to someone else who's got the expertise is highly valuable.
And then you can just connect with me on Instagram. I'd love to chat. Follow each other and just follow each other's journeys. I
Yeah.
am kind of an open book on Instagram. I love sharing. I just truly have a passion for sharing with
Yeah.
others. So I would love to connect on there as well.
Well, I can hear your passion. I can, I'm fortunate to see your beautiful face here as well. If you're watching this, you can agree with me, but you can hear your heart. I completely commend you for learning something new and jumping into practice and just making it your business to grow a successful practice and now an online brand, all on your own. And now you're helping other people do that. So thanks so much for making a little bit of time for me today and all these listeners. I know that I mean, I always take tons of value out of these conversations, but I have no doubt that you've made it more tangible, I think, for other docs to realize that they're not failing. There's little things that they can do. You've just made it more real, I think. And certainly for me also, you made it a bit more palatable in some ways to be reminded, like if you're here to show up and serve people and give them some height, some insight, that's never really a bad thing. And with a little guidance, we can all do a little bit better. So thank you so much. I know life as a young as a mom with two young littles is definitely busy. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me and thanks for your time.